Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, the I Teach channel, and today we're going to talk about the table of specification, the origin of a test. I will give credit to Dr. Anthony Sayas C. Caringal, the APS in Math of Bacoor City. This was delivered by him during the upskilling of master teachers for instructional supervision of teachers at Bacoor Elementary School on last February 9, 2023. At the end of this session, master teachers shall be able to develop a table of specification prior to developing a test. Our enabling objectives, specifically master teachers shall be able to understand why TOS is important in developing a test, follow the test in creating TOS, and appreciate the purpose of TOS. For the outline of the session, we were expected to have typical test item observations, potential causes of poor test items, consideration for test preparation, process of crafting a test, and of course, we have the table of specification. So this will be the inclusion for these sessions. Okay, now let me ask you, ikaw ba ay AFL or AOL? So what is AFL? And what is AOL? So AFL stands for Assessment for Learning, while the AOL stands for Assessment of Learning. So we are going to differentiate the two. So actually, AFL can be found at all stages of teaching and learning process. For example, the beginning, the middle, end of the lesson, and even in homework. Unlike AOL, which is only used at the end of the learning to measure the students against certain standards. So AOL stands actually AOL, or the assessment of learning, is summative. It occurs at the end of the portion of learning to assess the learner's achievement levels against a particular standards or criteria, while the assessment for learning is embedded throughout the teaching and learning process. So this includes all the formative tests that we are given to the learners during the whole period of our class. All right, so I'm sure that you understand it already. So now, ano ang pagkakaalam ko? Oh, wow, we are going to think about how do we understand this, or what do we know about this? As a master teacher, why do you need, do you need to check the TOS and test with answer key made by a teacher? Oh, so come on, you answer. Of course, the main reason there is that we will be able to know if the how long does the teacher taught per topics, and then we'll be able to check also if the teacher is able to um, assess the the students learning, okay, from easy, average, and to difficult, of course following the Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so TOS also serve as the blueprint, because if you have the blueprint, you will be able to save time. Okay, so let's see if if all those answers are correct. All right, so according to World Watch in Philadelphia Triumphant on August 2005, it says that 13% of the students who got low grades in exams are caused by faulty test questions. Oh, yeah, somehow I agree with this. Of course, this is a research result already, so um, we can do nothing with this because it is already proven. Okay, yeah, that it's really true. Okay, so as you know, Here are the typical test item observation. The first one, test items were not part of the lessons taught. See, if you do not have the TOS, you might be going to any, or you might be going further, or yeah, because sometimes you will give a test item which is not really included in your lesson or in your topic. So if you have the TOS, you will be guided. All right. Next, answer in the question is not among the choices. See, so that's why it's very important that we are going to check also the test answers, or the answer, or the key to corrections. Next, construction of the test item question. All right, yes, because in the TOS we have their um, easy, average, and difficult questions. So it will vary, of course. So the master teacher, it is really the responsibility of the master teacher to check whether the test item questions is correct. Of course, you have to check the grammar. At the same time, you have to see to it that it's really easy or it's not easy. Okay, next one. Test items are copied verbatim from available learning resources. Yes, this is really very common among yeah, some teachers. They are copying the test items from the available learning resources, such as Deped Tambayan, like that, because some teachers there are sharing their tests questions, and the teachers, of course, will just copy them without reading or without even looking at it if it's correct or not. Okay. So now let's go to the next. Test items are not aligned to learning area, curriculum, guide, or MELT. That is why there is a portion there in the TOS that the adjectives or the MELT are being written, and then you have to check that. Of course, it must be aligned also with the bow. So you have to check also the bow. Next one, test items are shortened to reduce printing cost. Oh no. Yeah, this is correct. Sometimes they are what's this, formatting the font size into a very very small one. Okay, so it's not good. Okay, and or even worse, they are making the test questions very short in a way that the students cannot understand it well. Next, no TOS or TOS was made after the crafting of tests. Yeah, yeah, some of the teachers are doing this. They are making some questions first, and then after a while they will make a TOS. So I think it's not good. So the first thing that we're going to do first is to make a TOS. Okay, so what are we going to consider for test preparation? The first one, of course, the purpose of the test. Yeah, you should have purpose. Okay, why? Why do you want to why do you want to make such assessment? Next one, we have to consider also the time to prepare. Next, skill of teacher in crafting the test. Yes. Mm-hmm. But I think the teachers are really very good at this because, during their college days, we were already taught how to make valid um, test questions, right? Reliable test questions. Okay, remember that to prepare a good test, one has a mastery of content, knowledge of the learners to be tested, skill in verbal expression, and the use of different test formats. Take note that we are teachers. We are the captain of our own ship, and we are the one who knew the kind of students that we are going to be tested or assessed to be assessed. So therefore, it can be true that your test may vary from other teachers. So you should not copy them. All right? Okay. Next, the process of crafting a test. The first one is identify the learning competencies, learning objectives to be assessed. Yeah, of course. That's the first part of the TOS. Next, decide on the type of test, whether it is objective, subjective, or combined. Okay, that's the second thing that you're going to consider. You have to decide. Next, you have to prepare a table of specification, and that's what we are going to deal later. Okay, what is a table of specification? This is a test blueprint. If we have a blueprint of our house, of our home, then for our test, we have also a blueprint. So it's the skeleton, right? So without the skeleton, we cannot move. So table of specification is really very important. It helps teachers align learning objectives, teaching and assessment, of course. Because you know TOS is really a plan. It's a good plan for assessment. It ensures balance between test items. You will have the easy and difficult, lower order thinking skills to higher order thinking skills. Okay, for the column one, we have the learning competencies. We can, of course, um, copy this from the BAO, from the curriculum guide. So, of course, you have to follow them. That's it. That's the column one. The column two, the number of days. You had taught the learning competencies. Okay, you have to refer to your BAO. Yeah, that's really very important because the number of days taught will really affect the number of items that you're going to make. Next, column three, percent of items. So how do we get it? So column two, that's the number of days taught divided by the total number of days in a quarter. So the total number of days, we have 40, then we have to multiply them by we have to multiply the product, the quotient by 100. And the column 4, number of items per learning competencies. So this is percent of item times total items. So for grade 5 and 6, we have 50 items. So you are going to multiply the percent of items that you had got there in the column 3 to the total number of items, which is 50. Then the column 5 to 10, distribution of test items per group, per level of cognitive domain. So you have to consider that. Okay? And the column 11, the item placement. Okay, so you have to put it there if it's from number 1 to number 10. Okay? And the last row is the total per column. All right. Okay. So here are the domains. Okay, for the table, for the column there. Okay, the second to the last column. For remembering, understanding, and application, we consider that as easy items. So for remembering, you can only have 10%. For understanding, 20%. And for application, 30%. For the average, we can have analysis and evaluation, which, yeah, they are equal 15%, 15%. So 30% for the average. And for crafting, yeah, crafting or creating, that is difficult item. So that's 10%. All right. So you can follow that, but of course you can change if you like. So according to Sir Sayos, this is only applicable for math teachers. Okay, but of course you have to remember that, okay, 60 items for easy. You can change the percentage here. So for example, for remembering, you want it to be 20%, it can be in other subject, but not in math, okay? All right. Okay, for average, you will have 30%, and for the difficult, you can have 10%. Okay, so here is the format for the table of specification. So we have the learning competency, number of days taught, percent of items, number of items, okay, and then we have here the cognitive domain. So remembering, understanding, analyzing, and applying, that's easy. Okay, for evaluating, yeah, that's the what's that? That's the average, and for the creating, that's the difficult. And we have here the item placement. Okay, so I am very sure that you're going to make a table specification. All right, and yeah, we were asked here to share our thoughts. Actually, it's so hard because we were given a very limited time during this session, but then we were able to make it. Okay, thank you, Sir Sayus. And always remember that students can escape bad teaching, but they can't escape bad assessment. That is according to David Bond. Okay, so remember also that so when learners suffer a failure, we must get them back to success as quickly as possible to restore their confidence in their capabilities. That is according to Rick Stegens. And that is really very important for us because we have to build our learners. Okay? For that, thank you so much. And again, I would like to thank Sir Sayus for this for the things that I learned from you, and of course for these slide decks. Thank you so much. See you next time, guys. Please don't forget to like, subscribe this video. Goodbye.